Hello everybody. Today we are gonna do some AV PvP. Hopefully maybe find some people that want to play with us and we'll do some backcapping and actually try and enjoy AV. Okay. Let's get out of here. Actually, I think I kind of want something else. You know, it's funny. All the countless years I played WoW, I've like hardly ever come up here. I think like maybe once. Hey Zakipoo, how's it going? No, it's all good. All good. I couldn't get my stream setup working for a while. I was trying to stream earlier in the day. Kept having issues. Ended up calling my ISP, and then they were like, found out that it was like a firmware update for my router, so that fixed it, which is nice, but it's kind of weird. It was kind of a late stream, and then I only streamed for a little bit because then my my wife got home and hung out with her for a bit. Gross, yeah, I know. I don't know why it would have caused so many issues, but yeah, as soon as she updated it on her end, it was good. Yeah, she actually was very nice though, which was kind of a change of pace. I think she was kind of irritated with me at the beginning because I couldn't really tell her what the issue was, and I was trying to explain things. But I think those people just get so many calls where people are just complete assholes on the phone. So I always try and be really nice, and then like I don't know, she was kind of short with me at the beginning, and then pretty quickly she was like, I don't know, pretty nice, and we got. I was on the phone with her for like an hour. It was kind of crazy. Yo, Evan, I'm planning to main Ellie Shaman, also try out tanking. Do you think the lack of some very important talents, ones getting above level 25, will make Ellie not too great in PvP for level 25? I mean, you definitely won't be like relying on lightning bolts and stuff because you really need the casting speed, but you have your shocks and you'll have lava. Why can't I think of it right now? Not lava lash, that's the lava burst. Yeah, lava burst, sorry. You'll have lava burst and stuff, so I think it'll be okay for PvP at 25, but you might have to try and play it a little bit hybrid-y. Weird, every time I have to call my ISP, I have like a 30-minute hold. I know, it was strange. I got on the phone with her like right away. It might have been because it was like 2 in the afternoon, so it was kind of like not a super busy time. Yeah, I've heard some. Okay, so let me know if I'm wrong. I've heard some like some differing opinions on this. I heard that it looks like you can use it in combat, but then people were saying in the BlizzCon stuff you still couldn't. So I feel like it's not 100% set in stone that that's how it's going to be, but it seems like that to me. Then people were also pointing out that it said something like there was like a big range to it, like you could use a trap launcher or something. So I don't know, that's interesting. I mean, if so, hunters are going to be so strong if that's the case. Hey Game Broker, good afternoon. With Druids now getting Wind Fury, would you even play Horde now? The Alliance have better with their racials. What faction are you playing? I've always been Horde, but thinking about Alliance. Yeah, I think Alliance is obviously a lot stronger now in terms of PvE, but we'll have to see what Horde gets. They might go about doing some kind of like mini Bloodlust, or I don't know. I think it's one of those things where faction balance is important, and we don't know all the runes yet. So if Horde is if Horde has a very small population at the beginning of the game, I think that the devs could easily tweak things and kind of push more people to Horde side, but I don't know. I think I might be playing Horde. I'm not sure. I'm just trying to try and figure out where I want to play and stuff. I think Night Elf Hunter is going to be insane. Yeah, it might be a future rune as well that gives trap launcher. Yeah, I could see something like that. It just seems like baseline that'd be too crazy. I guess priests will be able to learn other races' racials later on. Oh, did they say that? I guess priests will be able to learn other races' racials later on. You think you will of the Forsaken plus Stone Form? Are you thinking their priests' racial abilities? I don't really think it would be the racial abilities, right? I feel like it would be. I could be wrong, but it sounds like that means like if you wanted Devouring Plague that Undead have, you could get it on a dwarf. Know the racials? I think they mean priest racials, not the race racials. Yeah, I would think that they mean the priest racials, because that wouldn't really make much sense otherwise. That'd be cool. I think a lot of people would like that. I think the cool thing is, I think Shadowguard really has a huge amount of benefits in PvP, and so I would definitely like to have Shadowguard, but I'd rather be undead, if that makes sense. So I think Devouring Plague is really good, but it's on a fairly long cooldown. Several classes can dispel it. You have to pretty much use Inner Focus when you cast it, or you have to understand that it's going to be like very, very mana intensive because it costs a ton of mana. I personally would rather have Shadowguard. Be able to remove Touch of Trashness. Hey, Touch of Weakness has some gameplay mechanics too, though. It can proc your blackout, but yeah, Shadowguard is just all around better, I think. Dement Shadowguard, Fear Ward, Stars, Shards, DP. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I think humans and dwarves also have like the heal, like Desperate Prayer or whatever, like 30% heal basically. And then I think priests have some kind of weird spirit buff or some, like something against like, I don't know, it's some weird stuff. Yeah. Star Shards Bis, people just aren't ready for that conversation. Yeah, I mean it's definitely a unique ability. The problem is like it would be so much cooler if it was if it did not arcane damage, you know? Like if it did shadow damage, that'd be awesome. I haven't seen it used that much, but it's channeled, right? And then I believe it's like fairly mana efficient, something like that. Okay, I'm gonna play on my Shaman, guys, don't worry. I'm just going over here. I want to test something down here for a second. I had this character at level 23, so I just like quickly got it to 25 so I could test out some stuff. Cast the ball while kicked. True, yeah, because it's a different school of magic. That's kind of nice. Does it kick you out of shadow form? That's the only problem, is if it kicks you out of shadow form, that's kind of a bummer. Beacon of Light is so broken and good for pallies. Yeah, I agree, it's really strong, but I think if you look at some of the things that they would have to give up, it just kind of depends on your playstyle. Crusader Strike actually as a holy pally in PvP might be kind of good for just a little bit of mana regen. Like if like there's a pet on you or anything like that, you can just hit the pet, get the mana back. Just depends. Like if you're dedicated, you're healing like a warrior and you're dedicating a lot of heals to him, then yeah, like Beacon would be way. Hope they make a replacement for BFD wand. Yeah, it kind of sucks too, because like Horde get a really good quest wand, but at least the BFD wand is close. So then if Alliance don't have the option of getting the BFD one, then they are going to be pretty sad. But they also could add those kind of iconic quest items into the loot table and just kind of update them slightly. That'd be cool. Like if you could get that wand from a boss. Yeah, nope, holy spells do. It's garbage though. It's just fun to play with. Yeah, it's kind of just one of those flavor items, I guess. I farmed these guys last night on 60 to see like what their drop table is like, and man, it is pretty freaking juicy. And wands aren't leveled. I just more or less wanted to kind of see like if I could even hit them, if it was even possible really to land stuff on them, and it looks fine. I think some of them are 30 though. The 30 ones might be kind of difficult. Yeah, if you had a group of 5 people out here, it'd be pretty nice, I guess. Bro, in the Blizzard Q&A, they said they're not doing two-handed shamans and Enhance is going to be dual wield. We aren't getting anything. Are they really? I was pretty sure that two-handed shaman would be like better at 40. Wow, classic. Hold on. Know about those. I mean, I personally don't have a huge attachment to two-handed shaman, but I'd like it to be there for other players. I don't really care myself. I think it's a little, at least how it is now. I don't. It's kind of like Ret Paladin though. I don't really know how people can play it. It just seems too like slow pace for me. Okay, some phase 1, phase 2. Yeah, we got that. Blizzard believes players will certainly go back into previous raids while leveling up. Okay, interesting. Raids from Classic WoW. Classic will make a return in Season of Discovery in later phases at 60. Still developing whether they're going to make changes. Might create new legendary items. I don't like this at all. Like, get out of here with that. Just make them. In my opinion, just make them epic. Gold buying, selling, and botting are hard for Blizzard to discuss openly because it's an arm race. I mean, I get this a bit, but then also it's pretty blatant to, like, bots are like a potato can detect bots in Classic, so I don't really get this either. Like, I could just sit out there and ban bots all day long, and I guarantee you I'd make a dent in it. Legendary benediction, please, thank you. I'm cool with like long quest lines, like epic stuff, like truly crazy things in Classic WoW that take a long time, but just like I don't really like having it be an epic item versus legendary. It won't matter really, and I just don't like. It's kind of like people's concern with like too many purple items at level 25. It's kind of true. It's like I don't really think they need to go away with like just keep most things blues. Purple should be really good. I don't think we need to see legendaries really. Fewer realm options, yeah, that's obviously a lot better idea. The problem with this realm option too, though, is like you're almost like shooting yourself in the foot not playing on a super high populated realm or like the quote unquote streamer realms or something, because that's where kind of like a lot of the fun happens, especially when kind of the flavor of the month crowd moves on. So like I'm happy that I went with Faralina back in the day, because there's a lot of people that picked other servers and then had to move later. So I just think this is the whole realm stuff is just kind of an issue, but it makes Blizzard a lot of money probably. Blizzard has focused Shaman enhancement damage to be more focused on the Burning Crusade, which is dual wield focus with Lava Lash. Blizzard is listening. Well, see, this is the problem, or this is not the problem. This is the important thing. Blizzard is listening to player feedback. If people have a huge issue with this, then people need to talk about it. And I think a lot of people do have a big issue with this. That's why I've seen so much about it. It might be one of those things that they're just worried about how it scales in PvP. Because right now, like, you can go out, you can attack someone with a two-handed shaman and do almost no damage and just be waiting there forever, hoping to get lucky with some procs. And then other times I just like literally one-shot people. Accidentally tease Scarlet Monastery. There might be runes in future phases that make hybrid classes more viable. Okay. See, I don't know how like much. I don't know. I get worried about some of this stuff. Like I'm super excited with everything they're doing, but when you try and start making things more quote unquote viable or strong or this or that, then it's not hybrid, right? It's like you don't want to see a Holy Smite priest all over the place, right? It's kind of unique to see one. I don't want everyone to feel like they can do everything. At least Smite Priest is a good example. Yeah, and like Smite Priest is strong right now, if they have the gear for it. Not very. I'm talking more in a PvP sense personally, but in PvE I've never seen a Holy Smite Priest. Racial skills are important for class fantasy and defines characters. I agree. Blizzard will not do anything specific for racial abilities, but Blizzard does hint that there may be weapon skills related, right? Okay. Is exploring potentially adding in priest racials as runes in later phases. Okay. All right. Good stuff, good stuff. Yeah, because two-handed Shaman has like a 13% chance to one-shot people. Yeah, it's hard to it's hard to like balance stuff, you know? Like, what do? It's like if you buff enhanced shamans, like enhanced shamans are already super strong given their moment to shine, right? Just kind of how a ret can be strong in certain situations. And then if you buff two-handed shamans too much, I think that's where you start to have some issues, but who knows. Sounds like you want specs that just don't work. Well, that's not true. I mean, for example, I play a druid, right? One of the most fun classes, in my opinion, is druid. Are they the best at anything? No, definitely not. I love the way they play. I don't want them to do as much DPS as a warrior. I don't want them to put out as much group healing as a resto shaman. Like, I'm happy with the way they play in classic. I'm excited with Season of Discovery to get some more variety with playstyles, or maybe a little bit more rotations in PvE. I'm not looking for like drastic changes that are like, oh, now we have, you know, 5 holy smite priests in the raid, and we have 4 ret paladins, and we have, you know, and now we only have like 1 warrior. I don't like the warrior meta in classic right now, but I also don't need like a new meta forming in Season of Discovery. But also, that's just kind of how the game goes. If there's a class that's just 5% better than every other class, then it just kind of, that small margin will draw a lot of people to it. So there's not really any fixing that, I guess. Need help because I haven't played Druid, or I have played Druid most of my life, from TBC to BFA and Classic WoW to Wrath of the Lich King, but now Druid is looking to be way overpopulated, and kind of want to try something new. Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is, you say that, I played Druid in Classic, and then in TBC, when Druid became like the thing to play, like Resto Druid and Arena and stuff, I started playing Holy Pally. Just kind of funny because Holy Pally in Arena was like definitely not the best. But I've always kind of liked that. Like, if you get to play a class that isn't overly saturated, then you're oftentimes, it's easier to get groups. It's just more, it fits more my playstyle. So I get what you're saying. I don't know. I said this before. I think players are going to have kind of a wake-up call with druids, though. I think people think that Blizzard's going to just make them super strong and everything, but I think a lot of people aren't going to enjoy their playstyle. They're going to realize that they still get, you know, destroyed in some PvP situations, and it's not as simple of a class as some of the other ones. Like, for example, in Season of Mastery, when they did the rank squish, so it was easier to get rank 14, I got to rank 13 on the mage, and I was like, okay, I see why people play mages. Like, I would just destroy people in PvP, and I mean, same thing with my Ellie Shaman, right? There's a completely different play style when I play Ellie Shaman versus my Druid, right? Like, a 1v1 on my Druid, like, I felt like I had to do a lot of different abilities. I had to constantly be like shape-shifting, staying out of range, doing all this stuff, and it felt satisfying to get those kills. But on Ellie Shaman, I just like crit with a lightning bolt, and then they're already at half health. So I don't know. I don't really see Druids being buffed that much in Classic to make people like necessarily stick with them as much as people think they will. Could be wrong though. Totally could be wrong. But yeah, I mean, if you want to try something new just because of trying something new, I totally get that. I think Hunter looks so fun. I also think, well, I mean, like, to be honest, the only class I still probably wouldn't play is a warrior just because it's never really resonated with me. But everything else looks fun to me with the changes. The best part of SOD is Evan's back. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I'd have a lot of people ever since I stopped making content that would ask me like in game. They'd message me and they say something about, you know, missing my content, and then they'd ask if I'm done, and I'd always say like, no, I just don't really have anything to make content about, right? Like, I didn't want to just make videos to make videos. So with Season of Discovery, it's definitely kind of reinvigorated my want to enjoy making content and stuff. Like to play the underdog class and push high. Yeah, I think it's just fun. Druid falls off hard after 50. Yeah, I mean, Druid is actually really strong in the first few phases of level 60 content too, when everyone's kind of in bad gear. Because really, on a Druid, you're not really benefiting a ton from stats later on, and a lot of the gear that allows you to kind of play hybrid builds, you end up just kind of getting a wash of a lot of stats instead of some of the key stats that you want. So, they're pretty strong early on when you're able to kind of rot down players because you're worried so much about your dot damage and everything. But later on, as classes become more and more bursty, it's I don't know, it's just kind of unfair for druids. Like, for example, Night Elf druids in Warsong Gulch, like, I feel so bad for them. Because they'll be like running the flag, you know, and they're using all these you know, trinkets, consumables, and I just like have Berserker buff and I just pop Elemental Mastery and then one-shot them and they can't do anything about it, right? It's like that's definitely the problem with being a druid at the later levels. I need to get mage food. The downfall for Druid for many is that they think they want to be, or want to play a bear or cat, or healer or boomkin. You don't play those, you only play Druid. Yeah, you can't, like, can't really just sit in cat form and DPS in PvP. Like, you can do it in PvE a bit, but that's kind of my worry though with the Wind Fury stuff, is they're just kind of, it's like a new thing that you need to bring to raid, like, oh, you better get that Feral Druid in there to get Wind Fury Totem for people. But that's how a lot of classes are in the game right now, so it's not that big of a deal. I think my PvP gloves are in the bank. Druid is always a long game. Well, good luck in SOD, my dude. Thanks. Yeah, I think Druid's gonna be fun in Season of Discovery. I think we'll just have to, like at 25, I think we're gonna have to do a lot of PvP in Ashenvale to kind of suss out what we think feels strong. Oh, Mace proc. Can I use it? I'm dead. You think STV fishing event will be in from the start? I kind of have a feeling it will be. So I personally am going to level my fishing as one of my priorities and try and take part in that on that Sunday. So I think it'll be 4 days after launch, 3 days after launch, something like that. So yeah, I'll try and get in on the fishing action. Plus, fishing is just gonna be a great profession because you can fish up the crates and then get higher level items. Hey mate, I don't know what to play. Can you help me out? Hunter, Druid, Lock in SOW. Thanks for the answer in advance. I mean, I think it's a hard choice, right? Like, it's more about personal preference. Like, I don't know, because there's already been people out there that have made videos on, like, you know, ranking the classes in SOD or whatever. I'm like, how are you ranking them? Like, you don't know anything about the classes yet. Like, you can rank their abilities that they have on paper, but that's not going to show you anything. So, I mean, I think you just kind of have to just play what you have liked in the past in Classic, and then just hope that you enjoy it. The nice thing about the 25 cap is, like, you can always change your mind if you hit 25, but also, like, the level 25 meta, it might not be the same at level 40 or level 50, right? Like, I probably am going to be playing a lot of Feral Druid at 25, but then I probably will be playing a lot of Balance at 40. So... yeah, like, there's, like, the tier list makes zero sense to me. Like, I understand you're trying to get clicks, you're trying to generate eyeballs, or maybe it's just something you enjoy making content about, or theory crafting, but you can't really, like, it's just complete guesswork. That's why I had originally said that I was going to make videos on the different runes for each classes and discussing, like, what I thought about them, but I've seen tons of people do those videos already, and also it's just, like, so much is just left up for, you know, we don't know if those are all the runes that will be available at 25. We don't know if they'll all stay in that state. We don't know a lot of things, so I'm trying to stay away from some of those videos myself, just because it's so, like, new for all of us with all this stuff that we can't really hazard a guess. And people ranking warrior at 25 and doing talents, and they put points into stance when all you got is B stance and D stance. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people just make videos to make videos, which is fine if they actually think the things that they think, that's okay. But I feel like they need to at least put a huge caveat on those things and say, like, this is complete speculation. We have zero idea what's going to be good. Can you make a quick guide to getting LFH geared towards towards SOD? I'm confused on what you're asking. We don't know yet. We'll get to 60 despite all the changes, and the new metas will be discovered. Best you just enjoy the class. Yeah, I mean, like, I think there's... Hey, I saw that. I killed that guy yesterday. You think we'll kill them both? I think we will. Okay, now we won't. Good. I killed that flying poo guy. I killed that guy like 3 times in Hillsbrad the other day. He was like ganking low-level characters. That's funny. I want to play Shaman, but I think so many people will play it. Gear will be hard to get. I don't know. I feel like Shaman was high on the list of things people were planning on playing, but I don't think it was so high that... Like, Druid is definitely really high. That is a little worrying, but who knows how many people stick with it, like I said. Oh, lucky fishing hat. Okay. Yeah, I mean, like, we can... This is one thing that I've started thinking about too, is like... I don't know how much I want to... Okay... Now I have no mana. I don't know how much... There's a few things that I kind of wanted to not make. It's hard to... It's hard, guys. It's like what... It's like one of those things that I want to share stuff, but then if I share it and too many people do it, then it becomes like not a good idea. So I was thinking, I think I might make a Discord and have like some stuff that I post in there that's not really like as seen from people. That's probably like something I'll do, but I have some pretty interesting ideas on stuff to do at 25. Warlock is always good though, let's be real. Yeah, I think Warlock, yeah, definitely is always good. Can't go wrong with Warlock. I also think Rogue, like, there's no way, just the way Classic is set up, there's no way that Rogue isn't, like, you know, strong as well. So... See, I mean, like, that's such a joke. Like, just two-shot a pally. Just, you can't do that on a druid, right? Like, Shaman's so silly. Longest sphere ever. Yeah, mage is also one of those choices at 60 that will always be pretty good. Basically, all the classes that are good now, like rogue, warrior, mage, for like PvE stuff, and then like warlock, rogue, mage for PvP, I think like you're still be a smart choice. Season is time limited. It will end. Also, why this is a short beta. Yeah, I mean, like, I think that's one thing to look at too with everything. It's like if you make a choice with a class that you didn't really enjoy, like, just know that it's just a season. So, like, I played Mage for Season of Mastery, ranked to rank 13, enjoyed it, and then I was done. I haven't played that character since. Can I share some of those ideas on stream? Trying to make a list. I mean, so my biggest thing for everyone, if you want to kind of know some of my ideas without me giving away all my really good stuff, is I would say fishing is a very important profession. Not only is it a good moneymaker, but it also is going to help you fish. Or maybe say you have a enchanter friend and you want to get a higher level enchantment done, right? Well, you can go out and farm for a while, get some greens that are way higher level that you wouldn't be able to farm any other way, and then have the enchanter disenchant them and make stuff for you. That's one thing you can do. There's also, like, I think, okay, so if I kill a level 25 mob and it drops a green item, it drops a green that is roughly 4 to 5 levels lower. So it's probably dropping things, I think it's actually like 6 to 4 levels lower or something. It's dropping like level 19s, 20s, 21 items, right? And so those items really aren't exactly what you want. So then you should probably go farm level like 28, 29, 30 mobs. But then at that point you run into the issue of who knows how long you're going to be out there farming, and also those level 30 mobs obviously are going to be a little bit of a challenge for you. So my suggestion would be focus on dungeons or outdoor content that has mobs around that level. And there's a few really, really good ones, and there's a few that, while also farming for those things, they're dropping very important items. Another thing I would say is, yeah, I don't know, it's like, how much do I want to give away, right? I'd say that there's something to be said about the strength of the slumber sand that you get from the undead quests. Also, if you're an alliance, probably around level 16 to 20, you should look at getting some magic dust in wetlands, or in Westfall rather. Mobs outside SFK. I mean, that's an option. My suggestion would be doing like RFK, then right here, and right here, and right here. These mobs are very, very, very good. Some of those mobs drop things that won't drop in other places. I mean, those are all things to just consider. And then it's also like it's like a time investment thing. It's like, how much time do you want to invest in farming for some random greens when you might get a much better piece from a raid, or from the raid, I should say. So, I don't know. That's the problem. Because, like, for example, if I want to play hybrid druid, I want to try and get probably all of the eagle off pieces, or like all of the eagle greens. But that's just because I don't know what's available in the raid yet. So maybe I wouldn't be farming as many of those pieces later. And it's also just depends on how like try hard you really want to go. Like, this is more of just like things that you could do in your downtime when you're not doing other things. Who knows? Wonder how long we'll be at 25 for. Yeah, I mean, that's true. Like 25, I think it's going to be over a month, but there's a lot of people out there that don't think it's going to be more than like 2 months, right? So it might be in that range. We'll have to see. I think there's more of an argument to be made to make the first season somewhat short, like 1 or 2 months, and then the seasons after that be a little bit longer, just because there's more content to get through at like those levels. 6 to 8 weeks. Yeah, I could see that too. I'll be min-maxing a lot more in Phase 2. I think Phase 3 is going to be awesome too, because you have access to a lot of the higher level content. You can even start pushing into some of the level, like the high level, like 50 stuff. And there's a lot of like the Timber Maw hold rep you can do. You can go all the way to Exalted and get the trinket. You can take part in a lot more of the world. The level 50 stuff is going to be fun. This is a weird game so far. Honestly, think the long game is to level a bunch of characters in Phase 1 and see what Phase 2 looks like. Yeah, I mean, that's a good call too. I think I'm personally excited. Like, so this was me farming. Like, I just went in and out of the dwarf area and probably killed like 30 mobs, 25 mobs, and I got all these pieces. So they're right on that level cusp. But like these weapons, there's better things out there. So it's like, how much time do you spend on things like that? Would it be better to just be doing something that's more enjoyable or more fun? I don't really know. I think profession stuff is going to be big too. I imagine power gamer streamers will try to raid at 25 over the first weekend if it's open. Yeah, I mean, I probably can hit, like, even not like no lifing or like going balls to the wall, because I'm going to be looking around for the different runes. You know, the funny thing is, I know this is a little bit embarrassing to admit to, but I actually had a dream. I actually had a dream the other night that I was able to get, because I was thinking about this, I was able to get the Wrath, the Wrath rune, where the Wrath is free mana, and I got that at like level 6 or something, and I was just like cruising through content because I wasn't having to stop and drink. So I was thinking kind of about like, I wonder how early you're going to be able to get some of these runes, because they could really change the pace and speed of leveling. But yeah, just a funny random thing that I dreamt about last night. I think for the most part, it's kind of, it's like everything is just, I don't know, I don't really know how to put this into words. I've gotten a lot of messages on my YouTube videos. I try to keep everything like super positive with my interactions with people, even if they kind of are being a bit of a dick, you know, just because I feel like that's the better approach to things. And I'll just have some people saying like real mean things about you know, like ruining the game, or like, oh, this is a season of discovery, you're supposed to just like let things be open for blah blah blah. And it's like, yeah, but I'm excited, and this is kind of the way I like to do things. Like if that's not the way you like to play the game, like I totally get that, but it's just kind of weird how nowadays like people very very much like to tell you how you should play something, or how you should go about consuming the content. So like even in chat with you guys here, it's like probably tons of you have different outlooks on like how you want to level, how you want to play the game, how much you can play the game or how much you even want to play the game. But I don't really think there's any right or wrong answers for that. Are you excited about Classic Plus beta? Oh yes, SOD, exactly. Good way of putting it. Can't wait to see the stuff they come up with. Hopefully they will also add new zones to and remake some OG raids. I don't see them doing new zones, but I see them doing like more content in a zone, if that makes sense. So I actually had like a script and everything for a video that I ended up not putting out. And I had talked about actually let me look at that real fast because I think it'll be hilarious. And I think a lot of you guys will like get a big kick out of it. Let's see. Video, wow. Let's see. So like sometimes I script videos and sometimes I don't. And let's look at this. I find this kind of funny because here, hold on, let me hide it one more second. I need to check something real fast. I don't want to leak anything. I know there's a way of like tools. File. Oh yeah, see version history. So like I did this on September 25. On the 25th and 24th is when I kind of was last in here. This is what I'm looking at right now. But just to show you that it was before BlizzCon, but I was talking about how like what makes kind of talking about Classic Plus concept, and the strengths of Classic are like accessibility, simplicity, a living world, zones that have purpose outside of leveling and questing. Imbalanced and unfair were actually points I made because I think that's really key with the game, is like not everything's fair and there's actually a lot of imbalanced stuff in the game. And then yeah, so I was like, here's a nice example of not adding new zones, but giving players exciting new content in the game. Grim Batol is giving content within Wetlands, a zone that has some activity, but also has no horde activity. So I was saying that the horde could now have a small village on the northwest coast and have boats that leave from a dock in Hillsbrad foothills and come to Wetlands. In doing this, you hit every bullet point. You get a very lively zone of Hillsbrad, a zone that's for mid-20s, and you have a huge PvP presence. Now you give players the ability to also go to Wetlands. That's an expansive zone, but it does seem a bit quieter. You give lower level horde players a new quest hub, and you also introduce a new faction and rep rewards for both factions in the zone. A fun defensive world buff in the new zone would also be interesting, giving players the ability to enjoy the world buff meta, but also stepping away from the idea of world buffs being almost always about increased DPS and output. So this is funny because I talked about this in a zone, and then we see all the stuff with Ashenvale. So I do kind of, so a lot of things that I see in SOD, I was very much looking forward to and kind of hoping for it in my own stuff that I had kind of prepped a video for before. But yeah, I guess to go back to that was your question about adding new zones. I don't think it's a good idea to add new zones. I think that just pushes out the feeling of a vibrant world. The more zones you have, the less populated each zone becomes. And so in doing that, you just kind of make the world feel more and more quiet. So if anything, I would just overhaul existing zones. And then running dungeons would be more fun, I think, than hope for green drops. Well, yes, but for example, my example stands with the dungeons. I think that if you look at the gear, let me see. You look at the gear in RFK. If you look at the gear in RFK, only the first like boss or two has a few things that a level 25 can use. Like this pole arm is actually really, really nice. But beyond that, everything you're getting is like higher level, so you won't actually be able to use. However, all of the trash mobs in the game drop really good level 25 blues. They drop this amazing ring, they drop gloves, they drop this incredible staff. There's nothing else that you can get that's as good as this for warlocks. So you have a little chance of getting those, but then also all of the, on every single elite in the dungeon, their loot table is all like level 23 to 26 green items. So you can get a lot of green items in there as well. So that would be kind of one of those, I don't know, situations where you're farming for exciting stuff, but you're also getting to do a dungeon with your friends, which makes it a little bit more fun. Everyone gets a rune at level 2. Paladins get Crusader Strike, so I would say it's safe to say that you'll get decently effective rune at 2. Okay. Yeah, that would be that would help make the lower level stuff feel a little bit less tedious for druids. Like the low level stuff for druid is pretty rough, to be honest. Like 1 to 10 is really annoying. Actually, I'd say 6 to 10 is the most annoying. Level 1 through 4 is not too bad, really. I have no idea what we're doing in this game, guys, by the way. This is just like an actual shit show. If anyone's watching and wants to play after this, I don't mind. Even if you're like a warrior or something like that, I can heal bot you, and we can just do backline stuff and recap bases and just have fun. Just hit me up in game if you want to. I don't really care what gear you're in, by the way, either. Just, it would be nice if you're at least 60. I'm trying to read and not die to this rat bag. Nice name, rat bag. I've mained sorry guys, by the way, I'm like really far up in chat. I try to read all the chat and I'm just getting behind a little bit with PvP. I've mained a feral druid since the beginning of Classic, and considering switching over to Shaman. I mainly PvP. What are the 2 hardest fights and the 2 easiest? Surprisingly, warriors can be a big pain. You definitely need engineering, or you need to be like a Tauren. Tauren, you can at least get War Stomp off, and Orc's nice for, I mean, resisting a few of their charges maybe, but yeah, you need grenades to be able to get some casts off against them, and then I don't know, besides that, what else is hard? Everything else is like Rogue can be challenging if they know what they're doing, but every other class, it's like you have a fairly decent shot against. Warrior, it's just kind of like who gets more crits and who gets lucky, and if they get a good kickoff on you or something. Hunter is like annoying. I don't know if it's hard for a hunter to beat you if you have grenades and decent gear, but if you don't have decent gear, then you probably will go before you can kill him. Kill gear will be targeted. Key gear for some quests and some from dungeon drops. Prices will be crazy for this 25 gear. Yeah, and I mean that's the thing too, is like we don't really know all the stuff that you get in BFD, so you might find that, you know, you think this one piece is like your BIS, and then you end up doing the raid and you're able to pick up some really, really crazy piece. But the interesting thing is, so far, the gear that we see in BFD is not like insanely better. It's like on par with other blues, like, which is a little strange. So you can go in SFK and get like the belt from SFK, and then there's like a blue belt in BFD that's fairly similar stats. So I get why they do that. They don't want people that did the raid to be like insanely more powerful than just a average level 25 who went out and quested and maybe has some PvP pieces from Ashenvale. So I get that, but that's just one thing to keep in mind. I'm just gonna play as much classic as I can, so I get a feel for them. Oh yeah, the different classes. Yeah, I kind of think that's a good idea, and also I think, again, yeah, I mean, while I think it's great to go out there and try different classes, there's also something to be said that like a level 25, you know, what's the best option? Like a level 25 priest is going to play a lot different than a level 40 priest. You meant zones like Hyjal, Gilneas, Blood Elf Zone. Okay, yeah, I'd love to see those then. I just am against the idea of like bringing in new stuff. I think that was always a bad idea with like Northrend and things. I know like lore-wise it made sense, but I think from like a player perspective, it just kills the rest of the world. Oh, hey Ryan, how's it going? This is the new Diablo 4 I've been hearing about. You know I did. This is Diablo 4. You gotta just get your credit card out and swipe. Or is that Diablo Immortal? Maybe both, I don't know. I played Diablo 2 Remastered actually, and I'll give Blizzard credit, that was actually a lot of fun. So that's the one. I know they did a horrible job remastering Warcraft, but Diablo 2 was good. A friend has been telling me a lot about this fun new game he's been playing called Pokemon. Have you heard of it? No, dude, I've never heard of Pokemon in my entire life. Okay, guys, if anyone wants to PvP, let me know. Or I queue up. Been torn a ton on what to play. I've made Feral and Warrior. Let's see, I mean Feral and Warrior, but considering Rogue for OT and Mute builds. Yeah, I don't know. Rogue has a pretty crazy kit. I think Rogue's going to be a lot of fun, especially at 25. I think in general, at the lower levels of the game, melee DPS do really, really well. So yeah, I'd say at 25, you know, Rogues, Hunters, Warriors, Enhancement Shamans, all those classes are going to do pretty well. Even Feral Druids. I think if you want a PvP at 25, I think Feral will probably be the play early on. Maybe you can get some really nice plus damage gear from the raid or whatever and make a balanced build work. Just have to see. Probably go leatherworking for some 25 Prebis stuff. Yeah, there's some really nice leatherworking pieces. That is definitely for sure. Like, there's the toughened leather gloves. There's the Deviate scale belt is actually better on Alliance side because Horde has some pretty good quest items that have like plus 12 AP on them. So those are actually really, really strong. I agree with another Horde low level zone. Too many bottlenecks early Horde. Yeah. Or flesh out areas lacking quests in Undead Lands. There's a lot of weird places like that in Classic where you're playing the game and you hit like, I don't know, maybe I'm trying to think of where I feel like there's kind of a weird, awkward spot. Like I feel like in the 25 to 27 range, you're too low to go to like Stranglethorn Vale, or like Arathi Highlands and stuff like that. But then some of the zone, like you just feel like you're going to a lot of different zones to kind of finish off these quests that are just kind of stringing you along. So. My character looks like a Ninja Turtle. You like my shield? Guys, I went. Oh yeah, I don't have the skill for it anymore. I went two-handed enhancement the other day with this, dude. I don't know how people play enhancement in classic era servers. It's just so boring. I'm just waiting for like a Wind Fury proc, and then like I feel like most of my damage comes from shocks, and then I'm healing myself a lot. So I'm like, why am I not just playing like a Resto Ellie build? You know, I don't know. I understand it's so fun when you get those Wind Fury crits, but man, it feels really bad otherwise. Rockbiter for life? You think that's just a little bit better? Maybe. But still, you're just waiting on these big weapon swings. I don't know. I guess I'm waiting on Chain Lightning casts, so it's kind of the same thing. Druid will pretty much get Fury of Storm Mage at level 2. Wow. Well, I mean, if that's the case, I think questing is going to be nice between that and level 10. And hey, even afterwards, I might play balance as leveling. We'll have to see. That's the interesting thing. I mean, a lot of people say level 25 is not going to take that long. It might even be faster now with all the different runes in the game. It'd be interesting to see if there's like... my guess is when I go to Moonglade at level 10, I think I'm going to peek around the zone a little bit, because I feel like that would be a prime spot for a rune for kind of druid lore and everything. The BFD gear definitely is better per spec. As a druid main, I feel I must try out the changes and decide for myself. Yeah, I think that's kind of the way to play it too, is if you're really interested in, say, like 2 or 3 classes, even if you get into like the mid-teens with them and just play them a little bit, probably will get some idea if you're into the way they're playing. Level 40 priest has a whole smite package. You've got something for smite priest, man. I think level 40 is going to be Shadow Priest's dream, right? Right? That's what I'd say. You watching a little bit too much of Takata on YouTube, right? I love watching his videos, but he was doing a lot of the hardcore stuff with priest, right? His Shadow Priest videos back in the day, oh, love that stuff. Oh my gosh, just hodged all day. This is the worst thing ever when a pet's on you and you don't get focus casting. There we go. I had an ass, but I was stunned. You like Smite Priest a lot. Yeah, I know what you mean. It began in BC with Outland. Most of the people just hang out there, and the old world feels empty. Better to add revamp older zones and continents. Yeah, I mean, that's what I love so much about Classic too, is like you're in Westfall and someone's running around trying to farm Dust Devils, another person is looking for herbs, another person is running down south to go to ZG Island. Like, you always see higher level people in your zones, right? Or they'll be coming back for like a random quest follow-up that's in a lower level zone for them. There's just like a lot of chances for you to kind of see other players, bump into people, and like I was in Hillsbrad yesterday. Testing out the blue or the green farm in that area, and it was like, it was the funniest thing. I just blew that guy up. Oh my gosh. It was the funniest thing to just see like level 60s running around just ganking low levels. So then I went on like this crusade of like killing all these level 60s that were like harassing people, and it was just so much fun. But I just am never out there in that zone, so I think it's just funny how you see that with Classic. It makes it feel really alive. Blew him so hard. Exactly, I blew him up, dude. Ryan, it's 4 o'clock. You need to still be working. As for sure, being an AA bot as a Paladin really sucks. Having Crusader Strike really accelerates it. Oh, auto attack. All right, I was a little confused there. I wonder, will Warlocks get the Metamorph as first rune or not? I feel like that's too strong because the Metamorph rune also gives them like several new abilities. So I think low level wise, that's too much. I think we'll probably see it at like 10, 15. Probably, like, think about it. Warriors get defensive stance at 10. Druids get bear form at 10. So I think 10 would make sense. Anything before that might be a little crazy. Holy Fire, Smite, Penance, Holy-esque Priest might feel good, I guess. Still get crit. Alright, I guess this was a bad idea. Sorry, guys. I mean, I've seen those old holy videos on YouTube, you know? People back in the day getting like, you know, they're in Warsong Gulch, they get Berserker, they pop like their ZG trinket and just cast crazy smites on people. The nice thing too is like you don't have any holy resists in the game, so it's a safe spec to make sure you're getting full damage. Thing like making builds fun to play is what they should have changed, not shake up the meta randomly. Yeah, I think Classic, I feel like no one expects Classic to be balanced, right? Like when there's a dueling tournament and we see classes going at it, we kind of know which classes are going to win. Sometimes there's upsets or whatever, but for the general purpose of the discussion, like Classic is very unbalanced, and I don't think that's a bad thing, but I also don't think they need to try and balance classes, or they don't need to try to give every class like a kick or a interrupt or a hard CC or a heal, because I feel like they did that with retail, and you just have all this class homogenization, which just kind of gets a little bit boring. So hopefully all the classes feel unique and fun, but we still kind of feel that class fantasy stuff, I guess. Yeah, no holy resist is massive, and some holy talents share healing and damage power. Yeah, that's true. It kind of gives you a good, like they're saying, a good hybrid feel for that stuff. This person just, I think that person just left the game. Or they phased out or something. Will am I in range of the totem? I don't think so. Shoot. Turn for the gouge. There's not as much point of like trying to fake cast a rogue, I feel like, just because their kick doesn't last super long. Right, I think he just bounced. Like, don't people commit to AV anymore? True, man. You hate to see it. Do I like the epic crafting gear? Yes and no. I think if it's really hard to make and you don't see many people with it, then sure, I'm okay with it. And I mean like hard to make. Like it's like several raid lockouts of you getting like materials maybe that only drop in the raid. Because I don't think there should be lots of level 25 epics in the game. It's kind of bizarre. Yeah, there's new epic crafting gear. We can take a look at it in a little bit. It's like there's some leather gloves from leatherworking that increased damage and increased threat generation. There's cloth boots that have a little bit of spell damage, and then they reduce damage you take by like 50% for, let's say, 6 seconds. But they also reduce threat, so you couldn't really use them as a warlock tank. There is a chest piece for blacksmithing for mail wares, but I can't remember exactly what it does. It's like a debuff that happens if you get hit. Maybe give druids a proper resurrect, not the combat one. Otherwise, it's a bit dangerous to do dungeons. I think them respawning in the dungeon was only just because it was the Blizzard event. That's the only reason I think they did that. But I do agree that it would be nice for druids to get a proper res, just because a lot of times groups will almost prioritize taking someone else over a druid just because of that. They don't want to have to be bothered with running back. I didn't really run into issues with it when I was playing a druid. Not trying to like pat myself on the back and say like I didn't let a lot of people die. It's just like a lot of times I'd like play with guildies, or we'd sometimes have a shaman in the group, so it wasn't a really big deal. But yeah. Locks are going to be super strong. They can hit 2k HP with Arena Grandmaster. You're saying the shield from Arena Grandmaster? Like if they pop the shield? Because I'll show you my druid. Someone linked into one of the discords a druid build that I had done. And I was like, oh, not that one. Because it was just like, I had just thrown some stuff together. It wasn't actually what I thought was this, but let's see, 60 upgrades, SOD. Yeah, I mean, there's several classes that you can get pretty close to that cap. So, for example, the Shaman build out has 1.2k, but I haven't put any enchants on him. Druid, I think it's this one. Yeah, 1.3k, and then in bear form 1.6, and that's not like, this is like a decent hybrid build where you're getting a good amount of int and like obviously doing like 2 stats to chest instead of stam, putting speed on boots instead of stam. It's kind of just like a choice. But that's the problem with Druid, though, is a lot of these pieces, if you want to have decently high armor in PvP, you've got to look at you have to look at going with these random affixes that you get from out in the world. And those are obviously a shot in the dark if you're going to be able to get them. I don't know if my druid one's... No, yeah, this is the old druid one. That's the problem. I have this on my phone as well, and I need to get logged into it because I have like 2 sets of characters. Other ones had I looked at? Oh, I had looked at Hunter. You can get both of these from Stockade. There'll be 1 less agility than this piece, but you also get stamina from it. I don't know. Night Elf Hunter seems like it's going to be strong. But 2k HP would be like buffed and everything, which is fine. But I don't think there's many classes out there that, like, I mean, druids in bear form you can get to 2k, but most classes you'd have to be pretty buffed up. Locks, in your opinion, are being slept on. Let's see. Locks are being slept on. They will be crazy tanky once full built with spammable CC. Yeah. We'll have to see. And the fact that they get to keep a pet with them too is pretty crazy, but also super cool. They said that, hey, Blizzard's been upfront. They said if a class is too strong, then they will go ahead and step in and make changes where needed, but they're okay with some people, or some imbalance, but obviously to an extent. $2K sounds like a lot until you see Hunter's crit for 800. Yeah, we'll have to see. The interesting thing too is you could get, I don't know how good it would be, but I wonder if you got some frost, or I mean some plus fire damage, because this is explosive shot does fire damage. I wonder how it scales with it. Could be interesting. Because, like, for example, you can get elixir of firepower at level 18, so you could be popping those potions, and there's like the Phoenix crafted gloves and whatnot for fire damage. Could be interesting to see some. I've always liked the idea of being able to do some more I don't know, random outlandish things with classes. Oh, they can get to 2k HP and then have a green arena grandmaster on top. Okay. I'll take your word for it. Why is it that the one time I sit here, no one comes through? They should prevent gold trading for 1 hour as soon as you go inside the raid dungeon. This will prevent GDKP, and you'll still have 1 hour master loot for your guild. Yeah, I feel like where there's a will, there's a way. People will find a way around it, whether it's like prepaying for things. Yeah, it's a who knows kind of thing. You would just bid off items, trade gold, and then do all the logistical stuff later. Like, if people want to do that, they'll do it. Okay, well, I can't do anything against this. Priest is just pocket healing. Playing a healing priest main and your income is going to be GDKPs. Funny thing is, in early classic, we didn't, like, I never saw GDKPs. It like became a thing later on in the game when more and more players became geared, and then they had no incentives for doing raids, and so then they started running GDKPs. Like, I don't think you will see them being an issue early on in the game. I think it's more later in the game. Okay. This guy is triggering me. I wish you could apply the 30% health to stats for Shaman, but it doesn't update even if you update the rune. Oh, okay, yeah. So true, that's one way that you can get those fatty health pools. Exactly, yeah. I didn't think about that. Level 19 Paladin got 2.5k HP, so maybe Warlocks can reach that at 25, but won't help much since some damage. Yeah, but one thing I will say is at level 19 also, it's a big reason is because you're able to get those high level enchants. There are just some changes that I think totally ignore why Classic works so well versus retail, like resources matter, or like mana matter. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully classes, that stuff still matters because, I mean, on one hand, cool, like, I'm going to be able to shapeshift more. Druid's going to feel stronger as a hybrid, but there's something to be said about having to worry about those resources. And also, like, the slower style of gameplay and everything. Do you think the most in-demand classes are going to be? I think it's probably going to be... I think if you're Horde side, you're going to see so many... You're going to see so many Night Elf Hunters. You are going to see a ton of human paladins, like a crazy amount of human paladins. And you're going to see a lot of Night Elf Druids. Okay, what is with... Okay, this guy literally just sappered me. Relax. Jesus. And then that's Alliance side. Horde side, I think there's going to be a lot of Shamans running around with one-handed mace and shield. There's going to be a lot of undead warlocks, like a lot of undead warlocks. Barn druids. Yeah, that's kind of the big ones I see happening. we'll get. I wonder if a shaman will get spirit wolves down the line. I don't know. Those are really strong. Wonder if they will make it so that if you wipe, you don't get respawn. You don't, or you get to respawn in the dungeon, or at least make more graveyards in the zone. Yeah, I'd say that it's probably going to be. I don't know. I feel like anything I say is just going to be the opposite. So who knows? I was going to say I think it's going to be the same that it's been, where you run back, just because it's more in line with classic, but who knows, there's a lot of things changing in this one. So he's like, what's the point of even fake casting? I just waste more time. Crazy crits right at the end there, almost died. That's why I'm saying, like, I think Warrior is probably the hardest for me to face at 60. It's just mainly whoever gets more luck with crits, or if I'm able to get the jump on him before he can close the gap, get a charge off. Mana problem classes are fixed, but I hope the rest still keep mana the same. Yeah, or at least like my worry with the classes that have struggled with mana in the past, like let's say a Shadow Priest, that they need to be careful to give specifically Shadow Priest that mana stuff. So like maybe you have to be in Shadow form, because otherwise then players will just take that mana, like take the rune that's helping them with their mana efficiency and then just use it as a healer. And then that kind of defeats the whole purpose. Oh, did anyone ask if there will be dot limits? Yeah, I think they haven't stated, but I would assume, like, there's no way they're gonna have, there's no way they could have a buff cap anymore, or a debuff limit, with just all the different changes that are going in. Like they have runes that go in that say, like, you know, you can multiple druids can hot a warrior, or I mean whatever your tank is, and you just couldn't do that with buff cap. I doubt they'll change graveyards. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't see that really being a thing, but hey, I didn't really think that a large-scale PvP zone change stuff with Ashen Veil would happen either, and it did, so. I might just go do world PvP. These AVs are so, like, I just don't. AV is so utterly boring. No one actually wants to PvP in it either, and you just get flamed if you try and stall the game out or back cap or anything, so it ends up just kind of being pointless. Why do we have this? Okay. Are we exploring new classes or playing mains chat room? Well, from a lot of people, it sounds like people are going to try and probably make alts, try a lot of different things out, but yeah, several people have said, you know, this has been my main for a long time, but I'm really leaning towards something else, so. I mean, that stuff's all good to see though, right? It allows, or it shows that Blizzard's kind of at least making things that players would like to try. Would be horrible to farm. Ending graveyards would be horrible. Farm fest. Oh, okay, I see what you mean. Yeah. Level 25 makes it uber easy to make alts. Yeah. Try different things out, see what you like. It's definitely what I'm going to be doing. Although I really want to, like... I really would like to... like, for example, here, let's take a peek at... I'd really like to be able to kind of fully complete my Druid. And get some of the things that help you stand out a little bit at 25, just because I think that stuff's fun. Like, imagine having Tabard of the Crusade at 25. That's like... That'd be like a huge accomplishment. However, I will say, at 25, you have to deal with... like, at 25, you have to deal with... the issue of SM being in the game or not, right? Like, I'm not entirely sure if SM will be around, just because they've hinted at it being changed for raid stuff, and I don't really know what the plan is for that. It's in? Did they say that? But I mean, imagine having this tabard. Just like the... I'm gonna try... 1 second. I'm gonna hide this for a minute. I'm gonna try and look something up. I think I actually have that on my channel. Druid leveling, that's beta stuff. Here, let's see. This is... Damn, dude, this is a trip. This was 4 years ago. Okay, so this was level 30 in the beta. This is us doing... I was just trying to see, like, how hard... Oh, this is 39. Oh, this is us leveling to 40. Shit. There's also, like, Asmon at 30 doing... Like, at level 30, Asmon's able to do Cath. So then, at 25, essentially, we should be able to do Armory. It's just probably going to be a long slog. Like, you just see how, like, very little damage they're doing. Everything's just, like, missed. I think that's funny. He's saying 2 mobs make me do so much more damage. He's doing like 9 damage to them. I think the key is hunters. I remember hunters were able to do the most damage pretty much out of any class. And I think later, a little later than this stream, they found out that they could use a fishing pole to speed things up a little bit, because I don't know if they fixed that. I should probably test that. It's funny, for 4 years ago, Asmongold looks so much younger. I think it's just the short hair. That's... Why isn't my comment sending? Oh, I said until they make it a raid, the dungeon is in. That comment didn't. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, like, that's the thing. If they... There's so many things too, even from like Nomergon, that could be good to get for some classes. Or there's like some quest rewards for Nomergon on Alliance side. It'd be nice for those dungeons to be in the game at Phase 1. Yeah, happened to me one time. Only sent a smiley without my comment. Weird. I have it turned off, or I have it turned to like the set in the settings, so it like rarely filters for spam, just because I don't really ever see any spam comments. So I don't know why I wouldn't let you guys send one through. This was one of the best streams. Thanks, man. I really try to interact with everyone, right? I try to read all the comments. It's kind of one of the nice things about having a smaller stream size. And plus, that's why I like to stream. I obviously, when SOD comes out, I probably won't be chatting as much because I'll be focused on gameplay and stuff. But right now, when we're just all enjoying everything with the news and theory crafting and stuff, it's fun to just chat. Dungeon. I'm sorry, but I feel like Alex Central before Classic was announced really frustrated at the big streamers just ignoring all the obvious bad, lazy changes and not taking the discussion fight with Liz. I mean, I don't know. I agree. A lot of the big streamers jump from one thing to another. There's a reason why I never made hardcore content, right? I didn't like it. It wasn't the gameplay that I enjoyed, so I didn't make content for it. I'm making content for Season of Discovery because I really, really think it's going to be a lot of fun, something different. But I also think that there are some things that could possibly... Like, the class stuff is equally exciting and scary for me. It could be tons of fun, or I could hate the direction it's going in and it feels way too much like retail WoW. But we won't know till we get there. In terms of like larger streamers and all the hype, I don't know. I haven't been watching a lot of streams that much lately, but that's kind of typical with people, is just kind of go with what's popular. Like, if everyone's crapping on something, they'll crap on it, and if everyone's hyping something up, they'll hype it up. So who knows? We'll see. If the game's not fun, then we'll stop playing. That's the best indication for Blizzard to know if Season of Discovery was a good idea or a flop, right? Yeah, guys. I really wish I had a level 60 that had a better time farming. Low-level content. I have a 51 mage, but it has like no gear on it. I just want to go into some of these dungeons and kind of...
What do you need?
See, no war songs. Everyone's just in AV. The funny thing is, like, that you can be rank 12 with 10k HKs, and I think I hit rank 12 when I had even less than that. Shows you just how strong the AV meta is where you don't even PvP. Can't I move this? Yeah, I have that add-on turned off. At that point, we were doing SM 10 man since the XP bug was in. Oh yeah, that's right, I remember that. Pull the entire dungeon. Yeah. There's also several hit pieces that you get from BFD that could enable you to have an easier time in some of those later dungeons. I'm thinking too about like you have mining that's going to be really, really valuable, but I don't really know how lucrative it will be. Like, I don't know how many people are going to go engineering the first phase, especially now that we saw some of the other pieces of gear put in. But that also could just increase the chance of mining being good, because a lot of people will have like leatherworking as a profession for those gloves, but then their secondary profession will just be engineering instead of having engineering and mining. I don't like the tier list either, but what do you think about the meta in SOD? I don't know, man. It's like a little too early to tell. Let me look at... Someone had messaged me. Let me... Here it is. This is the straw poll for classes on what people are going to play. And this to me is funny right here. Priest being last, and we talked about this. All of Priest's runes seem somewhat lackluster, but also any kind of shadow Priest runes that are really, really game breaking and stuff and would be tons of fun, I think they're going to come at level 40 when you have shadow form. So some of the classes that are lower on the list, I think it's just because they don't have as exciting of runes. Like, what's all the talk right now? Paladins, and how strong they're going to be, and how everyone's going to play Alliance, and Shamans, and how, like, oh my gosh, they have, they can tank now, and they look like so much fun. They're going to do crazy damage as Ellie. So all of the, like, hype classes are number one, okay? But also, you have to think about it, all the hype classes are also the type of people that they play for a month, and then they get off and never play again. So I don't really think that there's another straw poll that specifies faction as well, but it's only 1,500 people. Oh, yeah. This one at least has 5,000 votes. I mean, again, this is just like... this is on Reddit, right? And then think of the classic subreddit. It's just like... it's like a hype board for certain things. So it's like, oh, druids and wind fury weapons, and oh, they're going to be so great, and everyone's going to want to take a druid in their raid, and they're going to do so much damage, and then oh, paladins, and they're going to need to get nerfed. They're doing so much damage. It's all the hype classes are in the top, right? So I don't know how much like weight to put on that kind of stuff. Don't know how much it's going to really play out in the end. Pally Shaman are super high when you consider they're faction specific. Yeah, that's true. Even with some of the new leaks though from the different classes, like I'd like to see like hunters getting kings and stuff like that. And now that we know that their traps can be, I bet hunter's higher up on the list already. If you repolled people, for me, hunter already is higher up for me personally too. Like I'm more excited about hunter now as well. So that's why before the game actually launches, I wouldn't, like, I think the better thing is like those in-game add-ons that track stuff, right? That would be more meaningful, because with that you could really see, you know, after the first like few weeks of play, like what are the most popular classes, what are people playing, blah blah blah. That's a big one. Thanks for your take. Yeah. What's my prediction on faction ratio? I'd say probably like 60-40 alliance right now. But I think it will kind of even out a little bit. Like we kind of saw this in Classic, right? So Asmongold plays alliance, Esvan plays alliance. Both of those people have like a massive following of just like, I don't even know like a good way of putting them. They're just like people that follow him and play on his server, and they're there for a while but then they leave. And so I think at least the streamer servers are going to be more alliance for sure. In terms of the rest of server balance, I still think there's going to be more alliance, just because when you see a streamer playing alliance or you hear people always talking about the alliance being so good, blah blah blah, that's what you play. But over time I think it'll kind of balance out a little bit more. Sadly, the castor oil only gives hit in BFD. Yeah, I saw that. I think they just need to do that for later on in the game. Otherwise you'd use it at like level 40 as well. I just wish my favorite class, Druid, wasn't #1 on the hype train. Yeah. So Feral looks so fun, I might level it first. Yeah, my first thing is going to definitely be Feral Druid. Plus the movement speed stuff's exciting to me, I love that. These are kind of low though. These aren't gonna drop. So these are gonna drop like lower level greens. But when I was doing this a while back, I saw Staff of Shade drop off one of these early guys, which is an amazing weapon for Shadow Priests or Warlocks. But these are immune, yeah. Don't know what I'll main. Really hard to say, to be honest. Yeah, I think it's so many of the classes sound fun that I think it's just going to be playstyle thing. Like you start playing it and you realize like, oh, this isn't really like quite as much as what I was expecting, or you might be pleasantly surprised with another class that you thought you would just kind of try out. See, those are 19, right? Yeah, 19. You sent me your boomkin stuff. Okay, let's take a peek. Oops. So you're looking at a lot of regen from casting free wraths. I see. Some crazy spirit. Show. Doesn't show actual regen amount on that. These, I think, are actually harder to get than people think. So you can make them and stuff, but someone's gonna have to get lucky fishing them or something, because the recipe drops, like, it has a very low drop chance, and it's all from higher level stuff, like in Scarlet Monastery or whatever. So you're gonna have to get one lucky person on your server, or you're gonna have to get lucky and get it from like a fishing trunk, which is possible, but the likelihood of getting that exact thing to be fished up. So I think fishing for people to... A big takeaway, guys, is if you want to make some money on the server and you want to do something in your downtime, fishing is a very, very good option. Yeah, I like that most of it's leather too. That's important to try and get a decent amount of armor, so you have some survivability. Interesting. I personally would rather have this. I probably would lose a point here and a point here and put them both in Nature's Reach. I don't think you're going to have very high crit chance at level 25. And then you also have PvP. We've seen the PvP stuff that, when in Warsong Gulch, reduces the likelihood that you'll be crit by 5% or something like that. So it even lowers your crit chance against players even more. So I don't know if this is very beneficial. Everything else, yeah, totally. This I feel like is good just because of the increased damage. Because I don't really, again, with the crit, I don't really know. Especially you don't have like any intellect. I mean, when I say any, it's not your priority. So like your spell crit's 4%. 15% spell crit with Moonfire. Eh. Not that good. But yeah, the whole spirit stuff looks kind of exciting. The crit stuff is more of just like an unknown for me. It might be worth it. It just doesn't really sound like pretty good gloves. You don't trust the straw poll because it's exact reverse of actual representation in the game. Well, so the thing is, the thing is why do people play warrior in the game? Why do so many people play warrior in the game? Is it because they love warrior? Is it because they identify with the warrior class? Is it because no, they like big numbers, they like being number one, they like to feel like they're, you know, the best. And in classic WoW, warrior pretty much hands down is the best. And then when you look at Season of Discovery and you look at what the warriors bring into the table, I think it's just a lot less appealing for a lot of players, and so those players are, you know, fair weather friends of their class. They don't actually really, I mean, you saw that in TBC. As soon as TBC launched, how many healing druids were there? So many. Everyone was just rolling life blooms on people, and it's common to see. So I think when you look at the classes that have the most hype around them, those are going to be the classes that are the most sought after to play. Yeah, I heard about the Wrath being outside of the 5-second, because it's not actually taking any mana, so you're just allowed to regenerate while casting mana, or I mean casting Wrath while regenerating mana, which seems pretty crazy. It's a weak aura for my mace, yeah. Play warrior because I love arms. Even though in PvP there's a better spec. But I get what you're saying, maybe many play for PvE numbers, yeah. Well, and like... I don't know. I think like the Druid being number one also has a huge thing to do with Wind Fury Totem, sadly. I don't think it has everything to do with it, but people probably just, I don't know. It's one of the classes that's getting talked about a lot on the forums, so people probably just are like, ooh, that one sounds like fun. Okay, I'm off for the night, or off for my night shift in the casino. Wish me plenty of tips. Yeah, man, collect those tips, dude. Just tell people that you're saving for your epic mount. Just tell people, hey, I'm saving for my epic mount. Any tip is appreciated. I think they'll make weapon damage apply to form damage. I don't know. It'd be kind of nice. Or at least give some more weapon options for druids in terms of the attack power bonuses. That alone would help things out a bit, but yeah, that is kind of the depressing part about druid. I don't really know, guys. I don't know what the... Level 25 is going to be interesting. I feel like it could get it could be boring after like 2 weeks, or it could be a ton of fun. It really depends on how the player base is kind of taking things. Because I don't know if people are going to be like super try hard about stuff. Like, I'm even thinking to myself now, it's like, if I want that piece that has stam and intellect, am I really going to sit in here and try and hope for something that has like a small chance of dropping? Who knows? The Dun Beldar area, or no, that's not what it was called. That's not it at all. It's Dungarok. That place had I could have just gotten a lot more lucky, but that place was juicy for greens. I was getting just greens back to back to back, and they were all like perfect level range. And the nice thing about okay, this place is actually so nice. Okay, so there's level 28s to 30 elites here, and then there's level 28 to 30 non-elites here, and then there's oily blackmouth pools all along here. So you could just fish and farm all right in here with a group of like 5 people or so. What class am I playing? I'm gonna play a druid. Feral druid for phase 1. Might try out some balance stuff, see how it works. The Star Surge, I think it's called Star Surge. That ability actually is kind of cool. It's like an instant damage ability, which actually might give us some pretty crazy kiting ability and keeping people in combat. 26. Didn't even feel like bear tanks needed buffs. Yeah, I mean they but it's like when everyone else gets buffed, then that's when you need them. I think they're decently strong tanks in Era, but as soon as you buff other classes, you gotta buff the druids too. But I mean, I guess the nice thing about doing a dungeon is you're guaranteed, like, it's a safe area. It's, you know, the mobs, they're always going to be the same. Whereas like the open world stuff, you might have more competition with other players trying to farm stuff. I also think that, let me find it real fast. Let's see. This is kind of the stuff I do on my own time though. Like this is a rare. So if you're an alliance, if you're playing alliance and you happen to be outside of the pack, in terms of leveling speed, this is a rare that I'd definitely try and kill if you can. There's a 30% chance that you get this really nice leather head. It's basically the goggles, but it's just gonna have more armor if you're leather rare. The belt even probably would sell decently. And I was looking where all these drop. So RFK seems to be a pretty good spot for these. Again, drop rates are atrocious, but you'll get other things. Even if you don't get that, you'll get other things that you can farm. Oh yeah, I was looking at these chests and seeing what's in these chests, because there's a chest inside of Graveyard, in Scarlet Monastery Graveyard, right inside that first room. There's normally a chest in there. Did I say what class I was gonna play? Yeah, I'm gonna play a druid. No, I mean, like, I'll probably bear tank if I need to for, like, my guild, but I'm gonna just play Feral DPS, just Feral for fun. I think as balanced Feral, we should be able to farm stuff. Yeah. And one chest outside. Yeah, there's like a chance of a chest being up in like the courtyard too. And there's some pretty decent stuff that drops. Especially some like patterns and things like that you can't get very easily in other places. And then also in SM, there's like several greens that are specifically on the Scarlet Monastery loot table. Oh yeah, this is a great cooking recipe for the 8 stam buff, and it's like one of the only cooking recipes with 8 stam that you can get. Like, you can get this clam meat without having to kill anything. You just open these giant clams that are out here. So as like a druid with aquatic form, this is a great farm. So just trying to share some of the stuff I've found so far. Yep, and here's Humbert's helm. This is dropped only from these mobs. They're the ones that are right out here. So again, this spot is gonna be big, big, big. Even if you can't wear this, I'd imagine it's gonna go for like, you know, 25, 50 gold on the auction house. Just because there's nothing outside of this. Maybe in the raid there'll be, but there's nothing outside of this that gives you stats like this. These are all just changes. Oh yeah, and we've seen these. But yeah, even if you come in here with a group of people and you don't get the pieces that you exactly want, just being able to get some pretty nice greens that will sell well on the auction house might be worth it, and it could just be something fun to do. We'll have to see. I think fishing is definitely like gonna be huge. Especially for some of these recipes, like some of these pieces that will be really, really strong. Like, you need to be disenchanting, disenchanted from. You need to be disenchanting some pretty high level pieces, right? So if you're going to disenchant level 40 items, you're gonna either need a 5-man group that's really like slowly working through Scarlet Monastery, or a dungeon with similar level mobs, or you're gonna have to go and fish. It'll be cool to see what like a best in slot character looks like at that point. With SR Sunfire, other cat buffs coming, how do you think they'll fare overall? I think oh, here we go. These are pretty nice. I think they're gonna do very well overall. I mean, you're gonna see a lot of feral druids in raids, especially just because of Wind Fury buff. I don't know. Hopefully they do. Hopefully Blizzard does a good job and doesn't make them like everyone's playing a feral druid running around as a cat, but we'll see, I guess. I never played feral druid like in a raid, but I always thought it was cool because like on your server you'd know those like 3 or 4 like feral players that would like actually raid as feral, and they're like in this in this weird janky like thrown together gear set that's like from all different sources, and you know, they're like doing feral DPS in like AQ and they're still in some blue pieces because that just happened to be what's best for them, because there's not really many options. I don't know. So this is the area that's like gonna be the juicy mobs, level 30 and 31s. These ones are the ones that will have a chance. I think there's also a chest in this area sometimes. Like it might be one of those plays where you go to here, you clear these out, open the chest, and then run out and reset. Oh, yes, like look at those guys. I know like for gloves there's some other options because you have leatherworking, but these are nice. This is exactly the kind of stuff that you want to see. You guys think PvP will be in Ashenvale as open PvP or Battleground in Warsong Gulch? No, it's supposed to be out in the... I'm understanding you right. The Ashenvale zone will be a PvP encounter. It'll be something sort of like AV and Winter Grasp, like where Winter Grasp is kind of like an outside zone, but like AV in the sense that there's like a bigger, longer objective, I guess. I thought there was like a chest here sometimes, maybe not. 4 strength, 4 stam, leather belt. Level 18. Dang, back-to-back procs. I feel like Warlocks, and probably solo farm with tank stance and master channeler healing so much. Could. I think hunters are still going to be really good at soloing. I'm really considering leveling my Horde Druid as Resto Balance because I'd rather spam dungeons than waiting for mobs to respawn. Yeah, I think I'm curious to see how many people go like a leveling route where it's like I'm gonna go quests out in the world, or people who are just like, man, I'm gonna just get into dungeons and spam those all day. I don't really know if there's like a right or a wrong way. I think probably both ways will be fairly quick, especially since it's just 25. I would be pretty shocked if like I didn't hit 25 before I first logged out. Like I think most people will be able to get 25 within like I'd say like 15-20 hours. But with server population and stuff, it might be less. Okay, so here's one of the chests. It's locked, though. Fishing to get level 40 greens and send it to the bank alt to DE. Yeah, exactly. It's definitely a big way of you know, getting those enchanting mats for sure. Yeah, I did see that someone pointed that out to me the other day when we were looking at it, that the profession stuff is going to be BOP, which will require you to then actually have that profession. So it will probably cut down a little bit on, or at least it spreads out the crafting meta a little bit, so that not everyone is always just engineering and, you know, whatever other profession they want. Which, I mean, hey, they still could do that, but Blizzard might be kind of looking at that and looking at introducing a few more options. Like, for example, tailoring should just get, like, you know how engineering has like netomatics? Like, tailoring should have some kind of like net that they make with cloth. That makes sense to me. Just like a few more things would be nice to at least help those people that want to. Like, it doesn't need to be as strong as engineering. Engineering could still be like the go-to PvP profession, but it could also just give you a few more options. And then they could just share cooldown with other engineering items, so it's not like, oh, now I'm just going to be engineering and whatever next best thing it is. Rumsey Rum for 15 stam. Yeah, that'll be nice too from fishing. Hunters with BM will be able to solo farm. Yeah, I mean, there's some pretty strong pet updates coming, and especially if pets scale with your gear, if you get some pretty good gear early on. I don't know how it would scale, like if it's like scaling off of stats or if it's scaling off item level, because if it's scaling off item level, it might be kind of crazy to just like go out and try and get every quest item that has the highest item level. But we'll have to see what they implement. Honestly, as Druid, I think you go leatherworking now. The caster gloves are insane, and the melee ones aren't bad either. True. I mean, we still don't know what goes into crafting those, though. You know, it might be a pretty long process. It might be, you know, there's a lot of different things to think about, and then also you have to understand too that those crafting items are really strong at 25, but who knows what they're going to add to professions later. So you might end up seeing like that at level 40 there's like some crazy alchemy thing that you really want, and you might just end up switching professions. I would say like the best rule of thumb, because I feel like a lot of people come into my stream and ask me questions like this, and I kind of in a similar way ask myself the same questions of like, oh, what do I think is going to be good? What should I play? What professions should I get? Blah blah blah. I think you just step back and just do what you want to do. Like play what sounds fun. Don't worry about like what's the best. Don't worry about what's balanced right now. Don't worry about what's in the game right now, because we don't really know what's going to come in the future. Makes sense. Okay, guys. I think I'm going to get off. I need to go. There's tons and tons of leaves in my front yard. I need to go rake some leaves before it starts getting dark out. Take care of a few other things around the house. I have a video that I'm working on right now. Probably not out tonight. It'll probably be out sometime early tomorrow. And then, yeah, I'll stream tomorrow again. Like I said, I'm trying to stream every day, even if it's just for a little bit. I'm just kind of get in the habit so that once Season of Discovery hits, I can just have my stream on all the time. And I'm already kind of used to everything. But yeah, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for asking a bunch of questions, guys. Thanks for chatting with me. It's always fun. So I'll catch you guys later.